What is up? I'm your host, Gabby, and welcome to the Shit My Roommate Says podcast. Come vibe with my guests and I as we share our stories and open up about the taboo topics that roam around in most people's minds. All right, welcome back to the Shit My Roommate Says podcast. I'm your host, Gabby, and today we have my dynamic duo, Miss Abby. Let's give it up. I'll be into his house.
I can't with you.
You miss me all day, every day.
Of course.
And there is
I
no
always need a
denying
little Gabby in my life.
A little. How did that song go when we were kids? Like a little bit of Abigail in my life. It was Abigail, wasn't it?
Gabby in my life. Woo, woo.
Hey.
You're a whole vibe.
Well, welcome, man. I know it's your first time to the Shit My Roommate Says podcast, and I am so eager to have you. And I have been waiting for this episode because I think back to when we worked together, and I just remember all of our good times.
Oh, goodness.
And so that's actually how I like to start off my segments. If I'm sure you're familiar by now, but I like to kind of start it off with everybody telling us a little bit about themselves and how we met. So take it away, Miss Abby.
All right. Well, I'm Miss Abby. For those who know me know that I'm loud. I'm out there. I say awkward stuff all the time. I'm generally a shy person, but once you get to know me, I'm just out of there. It's just like sometimes you just like I kind of miss when she was quiet because the things I say, it's just like out of there.
You were quiet for the first 8 seconds of our not friendship, and then you spoke, and I was like, all right, signed, sealed, delivered.
I guess it just depends on who I'm around. Like, you know, when you sense who you click with right away, like the vibe just sets in and then my personality comes out. So I'm a little bit more reserved with standoffish people. And then like when I met you right off the bat, like I don't even know what you said. I think you
I like your
said
nose
like a
ring.
Mean Girls line. I think you said something from a movie and I was like,
Oh, it was because I was asking our old boss, like, she didn't tell us if there was uniform, and I think you and I had both started within like a week of each other, really.
yeah.
And I mean, you saw her; she was already like, we had a level to be at. And so, it was kind of like one of those things like, well, like, are we going to try and like color coordinate on certain days? And I was like, on Wednesdays we wear pink.
Yeah, I think that's what you said. And I think we just took it from there. I was like, she wore army pants and flip flops. So I wore army pants and flip flops. And I was like, yeah, this is my person.
It was awesome.
I was like, yeah, you're my spirit animal. as soon as I met you, we clicked. And I think that was awesome because you don't really get to meet a lot of people like that. And the people you do, it's just like,
you hold on to those, those are keepers in my opinion. Like I have probably for every place I've worked at, I probably hold on to like one person every other company. And I mean, yeah, that tells you I've been with, some peeps, but I found my niche finally, like I've been where I'm at now for a good bit, and it's going really good. And same thing with you, how long have you been? So if you notice, I don't really dabble into what we do too much.
Right.
I like to keep my professional away from here just because I'm already at that place, and I do that, for the majority of my time, really. So here I just like to be me. So
kind of the pride of what you do in a profession.
Yeah, exactly. It's the other side of me that you don't really get to see. You know what I mean? It's the after hours. It's the on-call Gabby.
The on-call. She said on-call.
It's our job lingo.
Definitely. And it's just funny because like we relate on so many things, even out of work. You know what I mean? Because like we do the same thing, and then out of work, it's like we're the same person. So it's like everybody wins. It's a win-win.
And and I think the thing that I've always found like most refreshing with you is that you're a young mom too. And right when I feel like I'm the young mom in the group, like my kid's actually younger than your daughter, and I find that to be just like so awesome because here I am, giving advice to like my friends who are now having children. And I get to go to you and be like, how was it with her? And, did you go through this? And was this done too? And you're able to give me that advice. So it's kind of nice. It's refreshing to kind of just like have that like that other opinion in my way.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I like whenever we're talking about motherhood and we're giving each other that advice, we're just so raw with it. It's not all peaches and cream, we kind of give it like the raw truth of it. And
Hell no, we know our children annoy us, but we
exactly.
love them. Like the
Yes,
love is never ending, it's unconditional, but
definitely.
girl, y'all ever stop talking? You heard of the quiet game? I'm gonna teach you it. Hmm.
I was like, my
Fun
favorite
too.
part of the day is when you're asleep, honey.
3 cookies if you win. I will bribe my child.
Oh
I
my
have
goodness.
no guilt in being the okay mom.
Yeah. Or when it's just been one of those long days and mom, like
My God. I
go ahead.
there I have had the majority of having bad girl jewelry the majority of her life, like her bio dad and I, we do have like our little orders and set in place and whatnot, but the extra of being able to say like, hey, if he wanted her extra, that's never necessarily ever been discussed. So naturally she's been with me a majority of the time, so
Right.
it's funny because like I'm now, even though she's been very independent the majority of her early years, she's now become very like stage 5 clinger, and I love it though. But like I'm now experiencing like I can't even go have like a mommy break in peace. Like
Feel you on that. I can't even use the bathroom without
no, I
Ari
can't
just
even take a
standing at the door.
shower, girl. She's like, peekaboo.
No, I can't take a poop in peace because Ari's right there at the door. Just like, what are you doing, mom?
Oh,
Mom,
and
what
then
does it
of
look
course,
like?
like they over exaggerate. Like I hadn't even like sat down, much less like done my squat position. He's like, "Ew, it stinks." I'm like, "Get the hell out of here!" I'm
You
like, if I
know,
had a shoe on right now, I'd be throwing it at the door.
real, like just staring at me, making dead eye contact while I'm trying to drop a deuce, and I'm like, this is really awkward. I was like, why am I don't want to make eye contact while I'm doing this, and
Well, see, it used to be Leo. So Leo's my dog for, those who don't know, but it used to be Leo. And it's so funny. I said his name. He's literally right outside the door. I like heard his little jingle. Can you all hear it, Mel?
no.
See, okay, I'm glad that I've soundproofed y'all enough, but like I can still hear it, so it's funny. But yeah, he totally heard me say his name and he just like came to the door,
Just
like,
do
what,
it.
mom, I'm right here. But no, it's like exactly that point though. Like if I do not have one, Leo has always been my stage 5 clinger. Like Leo has just always been so attached at my side. So like I have a king size bed. My king size bed is no longer just my bed. It is now my bed, chef's bed, and then bad girl Jury likes to come in almost every night, and I'm just like, girl, we're gonna go round and round.
God, I feel you on
And
that.
then if you thought that was bad, the dog comes in too. So it's
Yeah.
like, let's just have a party in the bed. And I'm like, I'm just trying to get 7 hours.
And your party space is like only a
Yes, of
bit of the
course,
bed, right?
because if I were to even try and request a centimeter more, I'd get a foot. I'd get a toenail in my eye or something.
Bro,
Like,
bro, definitely. You got the whole other side of the bed, and then like this 4-foot child just decides to just
yes.
he wants to be in your space.
I'm like, they
You
want
already
to
have
square
this,
up at
but
night.
he wants to
They
be
want
right.
to square up when they know I'm trying to get my REM cycles going. I'm like, just back up. It's COVID, man. 6 feet. Just
For real. Give
I
me
know they're
50.
all in my pod. I'm like, 6 feet, get out of my bed. Go to the couch. Go to your bed.
like living with your broke best friend, right?
And
Really
that's
cute.
why, that is why literally it's funny because everybody has kind of asked me recently, where the name roommate kind of comes from. And like when I'm setting up different interviews, they're like, well, like we didn't live together. And I was like, well, I utilize the term roommate very loosely. I don't so to me it's like you're sharing a story, and you're sharing it. You can talk about your roommate could be your sister, your family, because you've grown up with those people, you've lived with those people, so you have those personal stories. And then of course I've known you, so I've been able to then kind of give you my stories, and we make our own over time. So it's kind of one of those things, like the term roommate is a very loose term. So I like to throw my own spin on it sometimes. So
New room,
no.
in different
Yes. and
places, and
and Bad Girl
definitely have
Jory
stories.
is my broke freeloading roommate, because just when I'm trying to enjoy my mommy's secret pint of Rocky Road ice cream, that I do not get a lot, then she goes, Mama, Mama, I want some. Mama, share. And then, like, she knows I'm trying to ignore her. And this is how I know she's my child, because she's like, gimme, like, give me it already. Like, what are you waiting for? I'm like, rude. But here
You're
you
like
go.
rude.
Now leave me alone. But I mean, that's the part about having a freeloading roommate. You got to let it happen. You got to let it slide.
Definitely, definitely. It's just like if you kick them out, what's gonna happen?
And do you
Where would
ever
they go?
see any other kids in your future? Or is like you're one and done?
I don't know. I really don't know. You know what? In Abby's perfect world, yes. But then Ari does something, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna take my time on that one. Love her,
Fist
love
bump,
her.
man, because I'm the same way. Bad Girl Jory, like Chef Chef has discussed, the idea of having another child later. We would definitely plan for it. Bad Girl Jewelry wasn't planned. So I definitely would just want to make sure I'm a little bit more stable first, both of us. I'd like
Definitely.
for us to have more space, just kind of do things the right way. Not necessarily like she was done wrong, but not I have traditional values.
Right.
Hmm. Uh-huh.
Well,
I would
let's be
like to go back
honest.
to those.
If we're being
The
honest,
first one was a freebie.
geez, the first one was an oops. No,
Rough
I love
draft.
I love Ari. I
Rough
love Ari.
draft.
I
I
love
forgot to
Ari.
push save.
I love Ari so much. I definitely think she was definitely a big jump into maturity. She wasn't planned. 5 bottles of whiskey later. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but she definitely wasn't planned, but
Beer.
she's definitely she definitely is a blessing. She taught me patience, how to be more sensitive, and definitely something I never really was affectionate. So with that being said, I do want more children in the future, but I definitely want to be at better stability, and definitely in a stable, healthy relationship that I know it's going somewhere. And further into my relationship, than compared to where I'm now. I know that's definitely not a topic of conversation just yet, but
Well, I mean, I think that's the perfect transition, don't you think? I feel like that
um,
was true dynamic duo status. Like you're again doing my job for me. I'm like, hey, take it away, Abby.
no, I'll leave this one to you because it'll go left real quick.
That's how we do things the right way. I'm a lefty, remember?
Oh, that's right.
But
All right,
no, I mean,
all right, I gotta
that
go.
is actually why I wanted to have you on today. I think, you and I have always shared a passion with this particular conversation, and I would love the viewers and whoever is watching to be able to experience the style of Abby that I get. And I guess I appreciate it because you are so just honest and genuine about it. Like, but there is nothing wrong with it because it's what you honestly you and I have agreed on, you know. So our topic today is acting like a lady and thinking like a man, you know, women who have men tendencies and mindsets. And I I feel like we at least had to help write some side notes
Definitely.
in
We're
that book.
definitely a different type of breed of woman.
I agree. I definitely agree. You know, the fun part is that when I was so when my mom was pregnant with me, I was always told that I was going to be a boy. And lo and behold, I ain't a boy.
You're
So
very girl.
I always feel like a little bit of the like mindset carried because I grew up very, very tomboy.
Likewise.
So I mean, it's one thing already when like you grow up and the boys aren't necessarily going and asking your brother who is pretty much the same age as you know, to go play with them. They're asking you to play, and then your mom's kind of like, are you sure you don't want him? And they're like, no, her. You know, so I mean, it tells you something. And being around the guys, like when you're, and it's definitely not, you know, because the boys at this point are teenagers and whatnot, and they're trying to show off. So you're not playing flag football. They're freaking tackling people in the muddy yard and, you know, the muddy field in the back where it's all vacant and whatnot. And, you know, they ask you if you want to play, and these are your buddies at that time, you know, like you haven't grown a set of boobs yet, or sorry, a pair of boobs yet. Like you haven't, you know, like came into your J-Lo booty. Like,
I
so
still don't have my
sure,
kilo booty.
sweetheart, I prayed to Santa many years during my teenage years for a pair of boobs, and it did not come.
Yeah, well,
I think my chest did not fully mature until like maybe after my child was here,
if
when it
left
was like, okay girl, here's a break.
if left my butt was a person, I would be that person because I'm all back. So, so I'm still waiting for my booty to come in. I'm pushing 30, so
You know what is so
so
funny? It's
there's hope.
that
Those are no butt.
I always said, I was like, I never felt personally like my chest was ever an issue because like what you lack you make up somewhere else, you know. So I always felt like I had the rear end taken care of. So but now as I've gotten older, I'm like, dang it, because now I'm working out more and I'm losing my butt, and I'm like, oh, I hate this. I know, and I know I can do other workouts, you know, that'll make a comeback. I'm just lazy. You know, I chose to start a podcast instead of losing that last 20 pounds. I chose to sit additionally. Like, fucking winning, man.
She said winning. I don't know. I'm not winning yet on the body
In
portion,
my defense,
but
I sip water like all day now, and even you know me, I hate water.
I definitely agree on the, what you lack, you have somewhere else. I guess that's why I'm so funny because I lack the butt.
You know, I was just
No, my
saying this.
humor's hilarious. You'll forget that I'm all back once I start talking. So I guess that's how I've managed dating.
And you know, it's good to have that humor behind it because I've always seen those as like strengths and weaknesses, really. And I've I'm going to be 30, you know, like I've been dating, I mean, seriously dating since I was like 15, you know. So 15, almost 15 years now when you really think about it. And it's kind of like one of those things like you develop, you know, the traits, you develop your likes and your dislikes. And over time, I realized like I was never going to be that girl who like depended on a man. You know, I always knew that I had my own hustle when it came down to it. And the part that always got me was that I guess like I was forward maybe like to where I came off sometimes intimidating because it was like, oh hey, I got this. Like, do you want to get the tickets to the movie and I'll get like the popcorn or whatnot? Like I never made somebody feel like they had to pay for the whole date of something, and I heard so many times like how intimidating that was. I was like, it's intimidating to help you.
To help you. I think that's the
Okay.
part where it hits into the thinking like a guy, because like nowadays most, not most, not all, but most women do expect the guy to do it all. And
Mhm.
then therefore, like when I grew up just like you did. I grew up tomboy. My dad had me everywhere, like at work, working on the car, playing
Yeah.
sports. So that instilled in me even till this day. And I guess that's where the big part of I'm a girl, but I think like a dude hits. You know what I mean? Because it's a sense of insensitivity and in at a sort. Um, and it's just like it just stays with you. It's not something that ever goes away. And it honestly, when you think like a guy, it
Mhm.
hits every aspect of your life. It hits friendships, relationships, just your mindset, just the way you think. You're a go-getter, and you're just not as sensitive as most girls are, I
Did
guess.
you ever find growing up that a lot of your male friends hit on you or found you more attractive because you were able to think like them and reason like them?
Yes. But because I was so awkward when it came to that, because I wasn't girly,
Mhm.
I don't know if that had a sense to where I didn't catch that they were hitting on me. I was more awkward. So when I say like it hits every aspect of life, it also hit the approach of dating as well.
Mm.
Like, most girls are smooth when it comes to talking to guys. And what I've learned, because most of my friends that I would go out with were guys, I always got along with more guys than I did with girls.
Same,
You
same,
know what I mean?
and I feel like that is what helped me be able to talk to guys a little bit better because to
Definitely.
anybody that I liked or to anybody that I, had a crush on, even into my adult life, like I was like, no. And I don't know why I was like that. Like, I guess it's the anxious part of me or whatnot. But I mean, I chalk it up to being a girl sometimes. Like, and I know that's like super like not feminist, but I'm just like I chalk it up to like at the end of the day, like I'm shy, like not a lot of people realize that about me. Like if I don't feel like doing something, like if I'm like, oh, on the inside, like I'm dreading it, I'm like, I'm super shy. Like I feel kind of like as I've got flicked off the camera. Oops. uh, I feel like, as I've gotten older, like I've not necessarily became more of an introvert, but I've definitely shielded myself from kind of like that BS.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's allowed me to kind of peel back a little bit more of my layers, but it's also allowed me to kind of see the beginning layers of others. And I'm like, are you necessary for my life? And I feel like the one thing with thinking like a man is that I think sometimes when we have that mindset, it's kind of like, how would I put it? Like, is it too, like, it's too much? You know what I mean?
I think on my set, because I'm shy, just like you are.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, I don't know if you would call it a defense mechanism, but me being so shy, I kind of shut out. And then the moment I do start speaking, I say something so awkward. Like I had a guy in a bar ask me for my phone number. I gave him a high five. You know what I mean? Yeah. He didn't want to talk to me after that. He's like, something's wrong with this girl. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Like,
can I have your phone number?
yeah. And no, so all right, good talk, bye.
We'll
And
be the
then
Power Rangers. Just
go,
kidding.
go, yeah. So then I had another guy approach me in like an O'Reilly's one time, and he was making conversation, and I didn't catch on to it because I was like, like guys are naturally friendly. And so I didn't catch on that he was hitting on me. And then right as soon as I'm gonna pay and walk away, he tells me, can I get your phone number? And instead, no, I don't ask him if he has a Facebook. I don't ask him if he has an Instagram. No, I ask him if he had a Candy Crush. I don't even play
Mm-hmm.
I don't even play Candy Crush. So that's how awkward I get when it comes to like guys approaching me. And in a sense, I've learned that about most guys are like that.
Mm-hmm.
So some of my best guy friends that I used to go out with, good looking dudes, like they're not, they're really good looking, they take care of their bodies and everything. So you would think they have no problem approaching girls, right? Well, partying with them and going out with them, they're just as awkward as I am. Like, those memes on Facebook where they're like guys just go to the clubs to stand there and say, "Oh, she bad."
Yeah.
Kind of true. Because like my guy friends, these buff dudes, and they could probably have any girl in the club, but they literally do just stand there drinking and be like, "Dang, she's bad." And I'm looking
Like
at them like,
it's like the guys in King of the Hill. That
yeah,
it's like
exactly,
I'll just
just
sit
like
there with
that.
their chugging their beers.
Yeah, and I'm the awkward one with the bald spot. That's me in the group of guys. You know what I mean? So like, um, and I'm looking at them and I see them like they're so awkward, just like me. And I'm just like, okay, like I thought that was a me thing. I guess it's a guy thing as well. And like I would see that they would have trouble going up to girls, like, and you would think they had the most confidence ever to just approach anybody, but no, they were just as awkward as I was. And I guess that's why like I related to most of them. And it's just like, I don't know if that's just growing up tomboy or like, are we all just awkward? Am I hanging around with the right people right now? Because,
So, have you ever been done wrong by a man?
oh yeah,
Have
plenty.
you, but have you been able, so in the mindset of acting like a lady, thinking like a man, have you ever caught your man, in any relationship, like doing something he shouldn't have? Like,
Definitely, yes. Definitely,
did,
definitely.
when you chose to handle it in the way that I'm almost certain you did, which is, of course, like taking zero, zero craps
Right,
for any of it,
right.
how did, I know that is your mindset of like, hey, like I'm going to treat you exactly how you treated me. How did that go? Like how did those instances go? Because you have such guy tendencies in a way, like how did those arguments go those days,
I mean, in the
or
sense,
disagreements?
or in a sense, in the moment, my guy tendencies didn't come out. In a sense, my women tendencies came out. As far as
Mm.
my sensitivity, but when we overcame that, well, I wouldn't say overcame because we obviously didn't stay together, right? But when I overcame that situation, my mindset kind of clicked like, okay, so the next guy that comes, it's, I've seen the situation before. I already know what's going on. I know how you guys are. So it's not even so much of like, oh, I think like a guy in this situation. It's like, I've seen a guy do this, so you're probably doing the same thing. And then it just develops this whole facade in my mind, like I'm already a step ahead of you, like I'm already thinking like a dude, so I know what your next step is. So I'm either going to keep it pushing or I'm going to play your game just like you are, but I'm probably going to do it better because I've seen this before. And
has um has anybody you've dated ever said like you were intimidating to them because you have such a strong independent
oh yeah,
hustle to you already?
definitely, I've been told like I seem difficult. um and then
You never.
me, never. That I'm very I have a strong personality and I look like if I don't get my way, I'm just aggressive. I mean,
All day
I
every
am
day.
very
Just
I
kidding.
am I am I am very dominant,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that's in like my parent life, my work life. But I'm just, even though I may have guy tendencies at some point, I'm still a woman and I still like in my relationship, I still want to be, I still want to be the nurturer in my relationship. But in a sense, if I'm, since I'm getting played, that's when it's going to kick in and I'm going to kind of play the same game back. Or if I don't really have energy for it, I'm just going to walk away.
But you still entertain the idea of like playing the game too.
Depending on how I feel for that person. If there's like a strong physical connection,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm probably going to entertain it until I'm like, I need something else.
And has there ever been a sense where you were just able to, have you ever found like your male Abby, I guess, in a way?
Yeah,
How'd
definitely.
that go?
Still going. It's still going actually. It's we both definitely need a lot of growth. And we've come a long way from where we were. So
So it sounds like this is like a current,
yeah,
current
yeah,
somebody.
the current situationship, I guess you can say.
A situationship.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that lingo. I might borrow that. It's a
Yeah, we're still
situationship.
the situationship because we're still learning a lot about each other.
Gotcha. Okay.
We obviously developed a sense of feelings for, okay, we care about each other, but we're also both aggressors. So we kind of both need to take a step back and reevaluate everything. All right, would it be a better situationship to, maybe we need to get to know each other a little bit more before we finally make that decision, and
Yeah.
just have fun with it, be friends. You really need to get to know people to really, really have that healthy relationship. So what I think, what I've seen has worked and what's not worked for me. I definitely think with this one, I'm taking my time and I'm really getting to know this person because of previous experiences and why I think like a guy. So
And I take it back from, childhood, that I have such a dominant type A kind of personality where I like to control the different situations. Um, would you say that you take more so after like your mom, or would you say you take more so after your dad?
I would say I take a lot more after my dad.
See, I agree.
Really.
I
I mean,
say the
I would
same
think that's
thing.
why we think like guys, right?
Yeah,
Our dad.
and it's
So,
so funny. And I mean, a lot of people usually chalk it up, like when they say things like that, like to daddy issues. I don't personally have any of that. Like, would you say, you have any daddy issues to the sort, which would make you
no,
kind of think like a
honestly.
man more?
No, actually. I mean, I wouldn't be able to say that because my dad was involved. But you see, the way my dad raised me was definitely a little bit on the insensitive side. It was
Mm,
more on the tough love,
girl.
raising
Traditional
me like,
Mexican?
yes, traditional Mexican.
Yes, yes,
And
hunty.
you,
Oh,
you
it
know,
wasn't
the
easy.
he raised me like you don't need a man. If you know it, you do it yourself. You're independent, you hustle. And it's like he raised me pretty much like the son he wanted. Like I'm his first child, so he raised me like, okay, you're a girl, but I'm gonna raise you like my son, kind of thing.
And see, I guess knowing that like I was always thought to be a boy, my dad took it like, and I had already adapted this tomboy personality so young, that my dad was so kind of for it in a way. Like, we didn't really have the best relationship growing up because my dad just, he was a big he was a big he provided from like a distant. My parents divorced early in life, but like my dad was a truck driver. He is a truck driver, so he would travel for work. So it's like I really wouldn't see my dad, and I wasn't old enough to wanting to kind of go on like the trucks at that time. Like, it just wasn't something I fancied more than like my brother did. My brother and my dad, it's kind of like, oh, son dad moment. So like,
That's crazy because I was the opposite. My dad's a tire tech, and he would go on calls into like the mines and you know different places out of town, and I enjoyed that. I was always with him on the calls in his truck. I saw what he did, and so it's just crazy that you say that because like I was a polar opposite, and then my little brother really didn't care for it.
and
So
see, I was 6. Yeah, I was like right about 6 years old when my parents got divorced. And so it was kind of like I really, because my dad had already been like going on the trucks so much into my like infancy, I guess I was so used to always just staying with my mom. So when, like everything kind of got split and was like, okay, well, these days you go here, these days you go there, I was already kind of more used to my mom. Like that was my comfort zone. So I think it was just more so like, oh, okay, Bubba gets to go and like I can have you all to myself. Okay. Like, sure. So I never really minded it. But as I got older, that is where, yeah, like my dad definitely is like a disciple of tough love. Just from the way he was raised, and the way the different like values and things that he put into our mindsets. Like I was always raised like, if a man really loves you and like wants to be there for you, and like the man's going to provide. The man is the like essential provider of the family. So like the woman should not have to work. And that's where like my dad and I always differed, because I was always that child that all of my siblings, actually, like we all have kind of just adapted it, um because it was so ingrained in us as children. But like we all are so career driven, so it was really hard in a relationship, because it's like I would never quit my job. Like I like to buy too much shit.
I've always had the mentality of like, hey, I got you when you don't have, and
Yes,
um,
and I guess like that's how we grew up though, so here we are being given these traditional Hispanic values that our parents were given, and then here we are learning in society that it's like, oh, the people are equal. Like I can have her back as much as he can have mine, and vice versa. Like and so that is actually true. Like that is what I adapted in later relationships, and even up to now. It's like, oh, well, we take care of each other. But it was hard for me at first, having to kind of get out of that mindset, like, well, the guy is supposed to provide, because I was always told, like, well, when you get married, the man provides for you. Like that's it. No, bottom line. If he can't do that, then he can't take care of his family. And I'm like, we should all be able to like take care of the family.
definitely.
I mean, it's not just his family, it's my family too. And I guess that's like that dominance kind of came back, like that control, like, hey, why would I want him to have full control over this? Like, I want the control. Like, it's
Definitely.
not just his family. I birthed these children or whatnot, like, no, I wipe those butts. My house too.
Definitely. I think because the way my dad instilled in me, like, you gotta hustle, you gotta work for everything you got. That's just,
Mm-hmm.
you run with it as you grow. And like,
My dad
I've
doesn't
been
even
like
like
that.
decals on cars.
I'm sorry.
I said my dad doesn't even like
Oh, me
decals
neither.
on
I really
cars.
don't like decals on cars either. Neither does my dad. And that's so crazy you said that. But since like he instilled that I'm getting tongue tied. Since he instilled that in me since I was young, I've always been a hustler, go getter, a person that just does it myself. So like, for example, the situationship I'm in, but he's a giver, hard worker, always offering to do certain things, and I'm just like, no, you're good. Like, and then I'll do it vice versa, and it's just like he freaks out because it's just like, no, like you're not supposed to do that. And I'm just like, who said? Like, who said I couldn't do that?
Who
And it's
said
like,
I can't?
I
The
want.
I can't.
Well, here's lunch. I already got it. What are you gonna do? Throw it away? Well, if not, give it back.
I will eat
But
it.
like, yeah, it's just instilled in you, and that's just something that's hard to kind of get the mindset out of. Like, it's kind of hard. I guess that's something I do got to work on, is being a lady. And that's something that my guy friends have always told me too. Like, dang, you talk like a dude. You act like a dude. Like, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. I can't help it. I don't know what to do. And I would tell my friends, like, I want to be more ladylike, but I don't even know where to start.
I wouldn't know where to start.
I don't know. Like, just even my vulgarity and the way I speak, everything is just so like, even, when my preference is men, but even when I look at a woman, typical woman is like, oh my God, she's so pretty. Like, oh my God, she's pretty. Then there goes me looking at a girl. And I'm like, dude, she's got a nice, set of melons, right? But I'll say something crazy, and my friends will look at me like, "What did you just say?" And I'm like, "It's just it's out of admiration. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just saying it in the worst way, I guess." You know what I
Find
mean?
it
Like,
funny because Chef and I will be somewhere and I will see a girl, like I'll probably notice her first, and
yeah,
my eyes are
definitely,
gonna look. My eyes are
definitely,
gonna
yeah,
look like she did it to
definitely,
herself. And I'm looking at it in the sense of like, you get it, queen. You feeling yourself.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
like the
To set
whole
the
Beyonce
boundary.
Nicki
Yeah.
Minaj song comes into my head, like feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. Like, oh, she feeling herself. Ooh, like, and then I instantly hurry up and turn to Chef, and I'm like, isn't she pretty? Like, look at her. Like her jeans are even fitting her nice. Like, I like
And
that.
it's
Like
like
her
they
butt
don't know
looks
what
nice
to
in those
say.
jeans.
They don't know what to
Like,
say. It's like,
yeah,
yeah.
like at the end of the day, like I'm complimenting her, but he doesn't even know what to do because I'm basically telling him, like, look at her butt, like look at her outfit, like isn't she
And
like pretty?
they feel it's a setup. And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about girls that think like guys. Not a lot of girls that think like guys deal with jealousy.
But it's so funny. I will catch him sometimes, like not necessarily like looking at people to like gawking and staring like
Right,
he's breaking
right,
his necks, but like
right.
like he's probably like being observant like as to what that person is doing. But to me, it's kind of like, oh, is he checking her out? And I'll tell him, I'm like, she wasn't even that pretty. And he goes, I wasn't even looking. I'm like, I was just kidding. I'm just
Feel
giving
like if
you
I
advice.
saw it,
If I
you
saw it, I know you did.
and it's funny that you mentioned that because like a lot of the places that I did like to go to, like and I haven't been there in a while because just due to work and stuff, but a lot of the places that I
COVID.
yeah, and COVID, of course. A lot of places that I did like to go to with my guy friends were like Twins and Hooters and um,
Mm,
Perfect Score and Wing Daddies. And like, if a lot of people ask me, like, hey, what do you want to go eat? And it was typically one of those spots. And
yeah.
I could be there and you would think, like, oh, okay, she's going to get a mixed drink. No, I'm sitting there, drinking like my uncle, but it looked like my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
There
can
you
call
go.
me Theo because how fast I'm chugging the beers, you know what I mean? Even down to the brew,
I
I
can
was
just
drinking
see you
like a dude.
holding your lung and be like,
Exactly. Hold
oh.
it, my little hands, I have to hold it like that. But
Where's your grito?
it, but anyway, it's like, you know what I mean? So it's like even down to the drink, it's like, what's going on here? But it's just it affects even the little details. And like I would like places like that because in a sense it wasn't like not even so much like, oh, I'm thinking like a dude, so I'm checking out the girls. No, it's just I guess I'm in my natural element. I'm comfortable, like, you know what I mean? It's just like I don't know, it's just fun.
Have
That's
you
what I like
have
to do.
have you ever like been talking to somebody, and because you naturally just have more guy tendencies, and mindset, did it ever not work in your favor? Like, did it just like, did you ever have a date just go bad or go sour,
A date go
or a
sour?
relationship? Because you were,
I wouldn't say yes. Yeah, you know what? I do. I've had that happen before. I was with some friends. I think we were at Ojos Locos, again, another
oh
one of
my
the
God.
spots.
I've
And
never been there.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. But anyways, I went there with my guy friends, my typical guy friends that I would go out with, and I think I saw a guy at the bar that I thought was cute, and of course I had liquid courage.
Mhm.
And so I told one of my friends, I was like, what should I do? Like, should I be all cute and like just give him the stare and wait till he comes my way? And they're like, nah, just go do it. And I'm just like, you know what? You're right. I'm just gonna go do it. So I go over there and I'm like, what's up, man? Can I get your number? And I'm approaching this guy like I'm another dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like a guy would approach a female. And in a sense, I feel like the roles were flipped. I feel like I was that pervert guy and he was that like, ew, like, is this jerk really talking to
Did
me
you do
like
a
that?
cat call?
Yeah, like, just doing the whole slick walk and, doing that and did my whole pickup line. I should have told him, give me your number before I don't want it no more, right? I think that would work. But he just wasn't feeling it. He kind of just looked at me like I felt like he gave me like a number out of pity. I feel like at that moment he was giving me like the Mike Jones phone number from the song 281-330, and I'm just like, Yeah, that really didn't work out. I felt like maybe I should have been a little bit more dainty and ladylike, and maybe he would have given me his phone number. But I don't think he liked the whole like aggressor part as far as the approach.
I
So
just
yeah,
remember.
in a sense, I've witnessed that some guys just really don't like that, and I think that's where I struggle with my flirtation skills because I'm not a good flirt. I'm awkward.
I I can remember one good instance where I was on a date with somebody, and I'm gonna blame them for this one. Like, it was our like, so like the first time I met them, we met for like, drinks and whatnot. And then the second time we met, he took me to his family's house for a barbecue.
A first date.
Basically, like, I met you for drinks because, like, that's like our get to know each other kind of thing. And this was before, like, COVID and stuff. This was years ago, before child. And BC. And it was 2015, 2016 BC. And, so I'm I'm kind of like, okay, I can see the neighborhood, like where we're going on the highway, and I was like, where are we going? And he's like, I mind you, like I thought we were gonna stop like right along that little area because there was like a big shopping center, and like I thought we were gonna eat there. Turns out like his child was at the family's house. They were all barbecuing and cooking, and like when we got there, like this neighborhood we were going to was like ritzy, rich neighborhood. So I mean, their barbecues had lobster tails and crab legs. Like I wasn't complaining about being there. Like I definitely ate my worth of food. But at the same time, I'm just like, it's so awkward because it's kind of like, I really didn't want to come to your family's house. Like we don't really know each other. So, like I put on, at the end of the day, it was a Hispanic family. So you're gonna really, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm pretty hospitable. Like you're gonna like me. I put on good face, and everybody's like, "Oh, come back. We're looking forward to seeing you." La 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 la. And I just remember kind of like he was driving me back to my car, and I just remember that whole drive. He was asking me like how I felt and like if I enjoyed the night, and all I made a comment. I was like, I didn't anticipate meeting family so quickly. And I just feel like that would have been any woman's feedback to that evening. Like I wasn't going to call you out there with your family. Like I had a great time. Thank you for that. But I didn't plan on meeting your family that quick, man. Like this is weird. Like I'm awkwarded out.
I'm
And
pretty awkward.
he decided that he was just going to let me know how he felt. And he started on in his, mind you, we're driving down the highway at this point. Like, I'm maybe like 10 minutes from my car. And he's like, well, if I knew beforehand that you were going to be this ungrateful for a great evening, I showed you a good time. You ate food that you probably wouldn't have eaten normally. And I just, at that moment when he said that, like okay, like I can't afford what you're saying. What you're saying, I can't afford that little soiree of food. Like, bitch, you bought that at HB. Like, let's keep it real. Like,
No,
okay.
coupon to
And
calm down.
the second that I heard him say that, I was just like, I kind of looked at him, and mind you, he's driving, and I was like, do you need me to set you straight? And he looked at me stone faced, and he was like, excuse me? And I was like, do you need me to set you straight? You seem a little loose. And
You're
I
at a
think
10, you need to be at a 3.
And I think that whole sentence just did him in, because he's like, this is over. I'm taking you back to your car. And I was like, I thought that's what we were already doing. And he was like he just stayed quiet. And I was like, I don't need you to take me to my car. Like I can find my own transportation. And he was just like stayed quiet. Like, so I mean, I give it to you. You're a gentleman to take me to my car, but like never talked ever again after that.
Mm.
I was just like,
No.
damn, I really wish I would have got that lobster tail recipe.
I should have got a to-go box of that. So
Damn it, Aunt Pearl.
he's like, you're like, cause he right. This week I'm kind of broke, so I don't think I can afford the lobster tail this week.
I
But
mean,
payday,
paycheck was last week,
paycheck here,
honey.
I could buy 2 lobster tails with a coupon. But I
I
could buy.
got a coupon. You know those what do they call it? The favorite buys, where it's like you buy like one thing and you get like 7 things free.
Oh God.
You know, that's probably what they did.
Yeah, I think they do that like on Sample Sunday at
I was
HEB.
just tell them, come like that.
I think another thing too, that really gets the whole like thinking like a guy is my crude humor. On
Mm,
top of that, my voice is like down a couple octaves. I don't have a high pitched girl voice either.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of sound like between that awkward phase of like a teen boy hitting puberty. You know what I mean? I feel
Mm-hmm.
like my voice is a little deep for a girl too. So that's, I think that kind of steps my think like a man a couple notches up.
Yeah.
But my crude humor also. So I tend to, when I don't like something, instead of just saying like, oh, I don't like that, I do a hand gesture. Like if I
Yeah.
have
I'm like,
an invisible, you know, general
like
area of
you're like
land.
an air stewardess, like.
And sometimes if I really don't like it, just both hands, you know what I mean? And I trip people out when I do that. I even had like at work, one of my guys, one of the guys that does the crew work on the property,
Mm-hmm.
I did that one time and he's just like, I don't think I've ever seen a female do that. I was like,
It is what it
yeah,
is.
it's my invisible man junk. So
Your man junk.
man junk. I don't know. I guess because I don't have a real one, I don't know what else to call it. But my lady balls. So
Your lady.
yeah, I'm sorry if that's illegal to say on air, but
It's not.
okay, lady balls.
Your lady boss.
My lady shaft.
You got you, man. Got you. Got it. I get it. But I mean,
She said I get it.
like I got it. I get it. I was just pouring me some more water because you're gonna make me want to.
Oh goodness.
We're having too much fun over here.
But other than that, I think I kind of like that I'm the way I am though. No, you know what? I take that back. I really like the way I am. I'm a lot of fun
You
because
wouldn't
I
change it for anything.
nope, not
I
at all.
think that's the best part, though. I definitely feel it makes you who you are, and I can only hope that Chef really appreciates the fact like I am where I am and how I am sometimes. Like it works in his benefit when I do get my bossy side sometimes because sometimes we're out and about, and I feel like we're kind of being done unjustly and I'm like, okay, let me look at this. And normally he can be grumpy, but I'm just better at it and I'm a little bit more professional when it comes down to it. So it's like I can be like a corporate, like, we're gonna handle this.
I think it makes me a lot more chill and laid back than most females because
You're
again,
able to understand more.
yeah, it goes back to the whole jealousy thing, which I really like, because have you ever met someone just, and no shade to anybody that is jealous or whatever, but it's just not my cup of tea. But
Mm-mm. Same.
I like to go to places and most girls, it's like you're hitting on the waitress, and I'm one of those girls. It's like if I'm out with someone and let's say the waitress is hitting on them, it's like, hey, you can get a free appetizer, I'll take one for the team, I don't care, like go ahead, do you, boo, make sure you get extra guac, you know what I'm saying? So,
Sour
like
cream.
I definitely think that gives me a sense of security when it comes to the jealousy aspect. I'm not a jealous person, and like when I was younger, of course, because I really didn't know much about relationships, but I definitely think that's a good factor in my relationships. And a lot of my friends tell me the same thing, like, you're so calm and chill about that. I'm like, I don't know. I get, because most guys are not jealous. You know what I mean? Like,
It's I even, kind of instill it with like my niece. She'll ask me for different advice to things. And it's like I even tell her, I'm like, don't sweat it, dude. Like you have so much more. Like I kind of feel like I give her like a little junior playbook in a way. And it's so funny because without even thinking about it, she made her way onto another episode. We have a running joke that she has been now discussed in almost every episode that I've done or like recorded. And here
Right.
it is again. But it's like perfect. It's perfect because like here is this teenage girl growing into her own, coming into, I think she's a junior this year. So it's kind of like you have this going to school, working full time or part time, and um then you see her with like a relationship, and you see these little boys even just trying to be men already, and I'm like, and then she'll ask me for my opinion. I'm like, if you do this, like it's game over. Like I'm giving you pro advice here. You're in high school, I'm giving you
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I definitely feel you on that because I have a little sister who's the same grade,
Yes,
and
yes,
I,
exactly.
and you don't realize how much they're looking up to you until you see them in a situation. Like I remember I heard my little sister say, "Dude, get out your feelings and get the bag." And when I heard her say that, I was like, I could have swore I've used
my
that line
niece
before.
my niece does have like a little bit like, and I'm not saying like your sister does, but like she has like a little like slang to her. She has like a little
Yeah,
like hoodie, like a little baddie kind of
yeah,
kind of
same. And
kind of
I'm just like,
personality. And I'm just like, I tell her, I'm like, why are you sweating these guys? Like, are you sure we're related? Because I would never. Like, really? And don't get me wrong, like I have had my moments in my lifetime, but like with those moments I was like, no.
you look back now and you're like,
I told her, I was like,
okay,
fix your lip gloss and pop a new piece of gum. Like, don't sweat it. I was like, do not sweat these people.
for
I'm like,
real.
throw some hand sanitizer on and rid them away.
It's like don't chase them, replace them. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Like,
On to
if
the
they're going
next.
to
Life
cause this
goes
many
on.
issues already, like, adios, muchacho.
For real. I'll be like, I guess I dodged a bullet.
Thank you. Exactly. You know how many of those I can say I dodged in the last 15 years? Plenty. I feel bulletproof after a while.
I think that's where you are today with your mindset of act like a lady, think like a man, because of those bullets you dodged. It
I
just
feel like it helped me. I
prepares
did
you for the
feel like
next one.
I had to pull back on like being so much man mindset because I did see where like it wasn't helping my relationship with Chef, but it wasn't helping it, and because not necessarily like he wasn't cool with like having somebody who was a little bit more dominant, but it was just more so like we needed to find compromises together. So if I was going to tell him he couldn't be a Sour Patch Kid, I couldn't be a little bossy McBoss pants,
I
bossy
think
boss.
in my situationship, it kind of helps because his humor is just as crude as mine.
How long has
So,
your situationship been going on, if you mind me asking?
I think going on 9 months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's.
Damn, bitch. Do we
I
not
know,
talk that
like
long? You holding
no,
out
but like
on me?
it took a slow like start.
Hmm.
Like it just
Okay. Okay. I see what you're getting
it
at.
like it started off as like, all right, this is fun, and then doing our
Disrespect
thing.
retracted.
Yeah, and then as time went on, it's like, hey, you're pretty cool. I want to hang out
Yeah.
more, and then it kind of kicked into overdrive. Like, all right, now we gotta have the talk. What are we doing?
So you mean he
And
didn't see your awesomeness in the first 8 seconds like I did?
oh, of course he did.
It radiated out of you, right? It was on that highlight.
Not
It was that
everything,
glow.
just not the whole awesomeness like you did, but now it's more of a, all right, you know what, we was playing games the last 7 months, let's reiterate what this is. And now it's more in the sense of like, okay, this is an adult situation. I'm not going to call it relationship just yet, but
No,
it's
yeah.
adult situationship to where like, all right, let's really get to know each other, and then
Gotcha.
we'll take it from there. So it kind of kicked into overdrive on the, all right, on the maturity level on getting to know each other.
I understand that. And that's good though. I mean, as long as y'all are trying to figure it out together and making the best moves for the both of y'all, then it's the
Mhm.
best thing you could do.
And and if it doesn't work out, I still have a good friend
You
because
really do.
he's still like he's a really cool person. really good person. So if it doesn't work out, I think we definitely reach that level because of the maturity that's in there. If it doesn't work out on a relationship level, I still have a really, really good friend.
You really, I mean, that's true though. That's the best part, and I guess like, that would be the perfect way to kind of wrap up our chat for the evening. What do you have to leave the viewers with, women, girls, men, like what are some good little tips and advice that you would give towards, having that mentality and mindset?
I think the biggest tip I would give is go into a situation open-minded, because we tend to go based off a lot of people's advice and opinions. Everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody goes based off their own situation. So we tend to take bits and pieces of advice, and then we kind of create a scenario, and then we go into a situation, it doesn't work out like we expected, and we run away.
Mm-hmm.
So my advice to everybody is just go into a situation open-minded, be yourself. Not everything's going to work out, but don't, in a sense, grow in a situation, but don't change who you are to please someone, because you're just going to be miserable.
I get that. I understand that. I appreciate that. I understand it, girl.
Yeah.
Well, I loved having you on, and I know there's going to be plenty of other fire topics for us to definitely discuss. And if you know anybody who is interested in wanting to be on, definitely feel free to have anybody message me. I would love to kind of get, more content added in here, and definitely get more, even, people whom I've not ever met. I would love to get some fresh faces and, fresh perspectives and point of views.
Definitely.
Anybody who might be interested?
I do actually. I was talking about it at work today, and one of the new
Ooh.
guys was asking me how would get started and asking advice, and I'm like, I personally don't know, but I can get you in touch with Miss Gabby over here, and she can help you out. So
Yeah,
I'll
of
pass along the
course. For
information.
any questions and whatnot, even if it's to kind of get help setting up. Like, I know I'm only thankful for all of the help I found online. So, I mean, I'd be more than welcome to kind of point them in the right direction. Anybody who's interested in wanting to kind of get in touch with me and discuss different things, or wanting to be a guest speaker, can always reach me at Gabby at shipmyroommatesays.com. Super easy, all one word, Gabby at
I'm
shipmyroommatesays.com.
still having trouble typing it, so I'll figure it out.
Okay, so for the email, at least, it's all just the word. Like, it's not like the special characters and all of that. It's literally just at shitmyroommatesays.com. Super easy. I wasn't that complicated and extra with the email. I tried to make it as simple as possible.
I
But
still failed.
you just have problems. I don't know what to tell you. I tried
But
helping.
it's like you said, where you lack. No, I think I'm just screwed with that one though.
I was like, honey,
Yeah, yeah,
I'll hit a candle for you.
yeah. You want to say a prayer for me,
I'll
cause
help you.
help me, I'm poor.
No, honey, help you. You don't know technology.
No, I'm slow.
Well, it was wonderful having you on, and thank you so much, Abby, for coming in and being part of the Shit My Roommate Says podcast. And I hope to have you back.
Of course. Thank you for having me, Miss Gabby.
Yes, ma'am. You have a wonderful evening, boo. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's topic and guest, just stay tuned and subscribe.